Let's look at test data in computer audit. It is the second type of CAATS. So test data techniques are used in conducting test of controls on a client's computer programs by entering data into an entity system and then comparing the results obtained with the predetermined results. So test of data, they are used in conducting test of controls. The difference between test of data and audit procedures is that audit procedures are used to conduct substantive procedures. Then test of data are used to conduct test of controls. Yeah, you put data into the system, for example, a sample of a transaction, maybe sales, into the computer system, and then you compare the results obtained with what you expected. Let's look at the examples of test data. So there can be test data to test specific controls in computer programs. For example, online passwords, like you put in a wrong password to see if it will be rejected. Then the data access controls. Then another example is test transactions selected from previously processed transactions or created by the auditor to test specific processing characteristics of an entity's computer system. Like you select a transaction that was already processed, then you can put it again in the computer, or you can put it wrongly in the computer to see if it will be rejected. So test data can, for example, be used to check controls that prevent the processing of invalid data. For example, you can enter a non-existent customer code that doesn't exist and see if it will be rejected, or you can enter maybe a wrong amount to see if it will be rejected, or unreasonable amount when it comes to giving out credit to see if it will be rejected. Then test transactions used in an integrated test facility like a dummy department or employees used to test transactions posted during the normal processing cycle. Like you input a department that doesn't exist, you see what results will be brought, whether it will be rejected or not, or you put in a name of an employee that doesn't exist in the organization and see what it will bring. So those are some of the examples of test data. Let's look at the examples of test of controls that may be performed on the sales system using test data. First is input an invalid customer number. The computer should reject the number that is not on the entity's standing data file. So you can put in a wrong customer number and see if it will be rejected or not. Then input an order for a negative number of items. So the system is supposed to ensure that only positive quantities are accepted. If you put something negative, then it should be rejected. You can also input an order that would make the customer's debit balance exceed the credit limit, an amount that exceeds the credit limit, and that should be rejected, or it should ask for authorization from a senior person. So those are some of the test of controls that can be performed. Like, there are very many, but the main issue here is that you put in something wrong to see if it will be rejected.